Radar operators in Alaska detect an unidentified object moving through restricted airspace. It isn't transmitting like a civilian aircraft. It isn't following any commercial flight path. And what happens next is what's raising the biggest questions.
Go back over that spot again. Yeah. That's not natural. That is not natural.
Okay, we're just about 5 miles out. Things are about to get weird. Our instruments are going to go crazy. You're going to hear all kinds of alarms. Don't panic. And we'll go VFR the rest of the way, and we'll be fine.
Within hours, the White House confirms the object was real and actively being tracked. Encounters with unidentified aerial objects have surfaced before, but this one is different. The location, the response, and the sudden confirmation from Washington.
So I can confirm that the Department of Defense was tracking a high-altitude object over Alaska airspace in the last 24 hours. The object was flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight.
Here's what radar detected over Alaska, and why officials still aren't explaining what it was.
That place is more secret than the Manhattan Project. Nobody's supposed to know it even exists. Deep underground is a giant pyramid made of black stone. They think it's stone anyway. All they know is that it's thousands of years old. They've had techs and engineers working there since the 50s. It's a power generator of some kind. And this thing puts out a lot of juice.
Navy pilot sees UFO in Antarctica. A newly surfaced video, released by a U.S. Navy pilot, is drawing global attention after appearing to show a disc-shaped object hovering over a remote ice shelf in Antarctica. The footage has circulated online and has quickly spread among ufologists, leading to discussions and debate among experts and analysts. The video opens on a clear day above Antarctica's frozen expanse. Snow-covered ridges stretch toward the horizon under bright blue skies. As the camera pans across jagged ice formations, you won't believe what comes into view. A metallic disc gradually comes into frame. The object seems to be symmetrical and reflective, hovering motionless above the ice for several seconds before gliding forward smoothly. It's clearly nothing we actually know, as there are no visible wings, rotor blades, or exhaust trails. What makes the footage even more shocking is its location. While Antarctica doesn't have a continent-wide permanent no-fly zone, there are particular areas that are heavily restricted under international agreements and logistical safety regulations founded on the Antarctic Treaty System. These restrictions are related to environmental protection, scientific operations, and coordinated air traffic control in extreme conditions. However, the region's limited accessibility and sparse surveillance have long fueled speculation about what activity might occur beyond public visibility. Aviation experts reviewing the clip have pointed to the object's steady positioning and are comparing it to the known wind patterns expected in coastal Antarctic regions. Others have noticed that there are no visible propulsion systems, which would typically be expected in conventional aircraft or military drones. At the same time, digital forensics specialists warn that high-quality visual effects are more accessible, and there is no verified metadata or official confirmation about this metallic disk. The intrigue surrounding the UFO that the pilot spotted in Antarctica is one in many historical accounts from pilots who have seen unusual radar returns or brief sightings of unidentified objects while operating near restricted southern latitudes. Many pilots have spotted UFOs in Antarctica, but their reports are still unverified. Defense officials have not yet commented on the video, and the identity of the pilot remains a secret. If this footage is really authentic, it raises a lot of questions about how an unidentified craft could operate in one of the most tightly coordinated and environmentally regulated regions on Earth. Meanwhile, The White House has confirmed that a UFO was flying over Alaska. But that's not all. They also shot it down. The White House UFO confirmed. The White House just confirmed that a U.S. military aircraft shot down an unidentified flying object over Alaska's airspace earlier this week, after officials noticed that the strange object posed a potential threat to civilian aviation. The incident has raised a lot of questions about what the U.S. government knows and the secrets that it's keeping about UFOs in Alaskan airspace. Are they secretly monitoring and shooting down UFOs that come from outer space? Well, but the National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby told reporters at a White House briefing that the Department of Defense had been tracking a high-altitude object flying at about 40,000 feet off the northern coast of Alaska. Pentagon officials described the object as being roughly the size of a small car, and it was in U.S. airspace. Even more shocking, it was within the reach of civilian flights. The government was afraid that this UFO might crash into planes or even land on people, so the Pentagon decided to shoot it down. According to the official statement, President Biden ordered the military, which sent fighter jets to U.S. Northern Command, engaged and successfully shot the object down. This caused it to fall into territorial waters that are currently frozen. Officials have been cautious about labeling the object, although ufologists are sure that that strange object is a UFO or an extraterrestrial item. The government has not admitted or denied it. Instead, they simply say that it is just an object and that they don't know who owns it. No confirmed purpose or origin of the object has been confirmed. There are a lot of questions among experts and ufologists concerning this now. Black Pyramid under Alaska. Alaska remains relevant to UFOs and government investigations into them. In the early 1990s, a sensational claim started circulating that a massive, previously unknown pyramid-shaped structure lies hidden beneath Alaska's frozen wilderness. This structure is expected to be so large that it might even dwarf Egypt's Great Pyramid. The story centers on Doug Muchler, a retired U.S. Army counterintelligence officer who says he witnessed an unusual news broadcast in late 1992 from Anchorage, Alaska. Muchler revealed that the broadcast said something shocking. The broadcast reported that seismic data collected after an underground nuclear test in China revealed a geometric anomaly deep beneath the Alaskan surface. This suggested that there was an enormous pyramid-like formation underground. You might think this is just his view, but it was a real event. Scientists use seismic waves to study Earth's internal structures, and the 1992 test did provide useful data for geophysical research. But the scientists said they only found variations in the Earth's mantle and crust, but not the Black Pyramid as you might think. During the broadcast, Muchler said that geologists had mapped something enormous under central Alaska. He and other soldiers were stunned by the report and tried to record it for the future. When he returned to the station to get a copy, the staff said it had never aired, and he could never find any records of the broadcast again. He found out that two mysterious individuals arrived at the station and confiscated all the related tapes. This is clear that there was a deliberate effort to suppress the story. The location of the Black Pyramid is the remote area between Nome and Mount McKinley. Although there is no physical evidence yet, like the satellite imagery or ground excavation, to support these claims, it's clear that something strange was actually happening, and Muchler remained at the forefront of this. Skeptics note that if such a monumental structure existed underground, it would almost certainly be detectable by modern geological tools, and that no peer-reviewed scientific research has validated the pyramid's existence. Whistleblower revelations. Since Muchler couldn't get any information from the TV station or police, he decided to try other methods. He took a separate visit to Fort Meade, Maryland, a major hub of U.S. intelligence archives, and located military files marked with references to Alaska that could be related to the structure. But when he was still investigating, unnamed officials warned him that he didn't have the proper clearance, and then they confiscated all the documents that he had fished out. Journalist Linda Moulton Howe was known for investigating UFOs, and she decided to look into Mutchler's claims instead. She exposed what he said, interviewing him and the other people who had seen UFOs or experienced secretive activity in Alaska. As she investigated, she found a lot of reports on anomalous energy readings and strange military logistics in areas that seemed to match the same place the Black Pyramid was supposed to be. As denial, confiscation, and secrecy began to intertwine, many began to look for evidence. But there's no solid evidence about the pyramid, broadcast, or the confiscation of tapes. Some skeptics have pointed out that there were no scientific studies, independent documents, or seismic analysis. But it seems to be related to some top-secret military projects that the government is also hiding from us. Classified military projects. It wouldn't be surprising if the government had secret military projects in Alaska, especially since this vast frozen expanse has been home to strategic U.S. defense installations for a long time. One of the most notable installations was the Distant Early Warning Light, on a Cold War radar network built to detect Soviet long-range bombers and provide early warning of an attack. Constructed between 1954 and 1957, the DEW line stretched roughly 3,000 miles across the Arctic from Alaska through northern Canada toward Greenland, a joint effort between the United States and Canada under NORAD defense coordination. Its remote radar sites were vital components of continental air defense during decades of tension with the Soviet Union. The DEW line stations were among the most isolated and challenging military projects ever undertaken, with personnel enduring extreme Arctic conditions while maintaining constant radar sweeps. Each site required specialized logistical support, all transported and assembled in some of the harshest terrain on Earth. By the mid-1980s, advances in technology and the diminishing Cold War threat led to the DEW line's gradual replacement by the North Warning System, leaving behind different abandoned stations and relics of an era when Alaska's wilderness was at the forefront of national defense. It's secret projects like this that attract attention to the Black Pyramid. Experts who believe this theory link everyday military assignments in Alaska to something far more enigmatic than radar stations. Bruce Pearson Sr. has revealed that he was assigned to deliver parts to remote radar support locations tied to the DEW line infrastructure, but only to discover unexpected levels of security, unusual instrument behavior, and tightly controlled sites. The DEW line's operational secrecy and extensive infrastructure, which was required to maintain Arctic readiness, has caused some to wonder whether these classified projects might be hiding objects, installations, or technologies known to the public. But when the whistleblowers talk about the secrets of Black Pyramid, they also point out its technology, and the fact that this was way ahead of anything humans had made. The pyramid's technology. It seems like Black Pyramid is not just a forgotten ruin, but it might actually be some sort of advanced or extraterrestrial technology underground in Alaska. The purpose of the Black Pyramid structure goes beyond mere antiquity, and it might be a top-secret place interacting with atmospheric phenomena and UFOs. Looking at the technology of the Black Pyramid, there are different perspectives. Some claim that the technology created unusual geometric anomalies beneath central Alaska. The structure might be composed of unusual materials and convert geological or electromagnetic energy into usable power. There are some whistleblowers who say that the internal chambers and resonance designs within the structure could work as a power conversion system, harvesting vibrational energy from the Earth itself and transforming it into megawatts of electricity. And this energy could theoretically be transmitted over large distances, lighting entire regions or feeding power into undisclosed military systems. There might also be connections with cosmic or solar activity, and this is already being monitored by military observers. What's more, there are assertions that the pyramid's energetic output might interact with UFOs. This might be a charging hub or navigational aid for craft flying over the nearly Alaska Triangle. In fact, there have been a high number of extraterrestrial sightings and UFOs in that region, and some suspect that the Black Pyramid is the cause of this problem. Not all experts in the scientific community believe in this. Mainstream scientists point out that Alaska's geology and seismic data are extensively studied using modern tools such as satellite imaging and ground-penetrating radar, with no confirmed discoveries of artificial underground structures. And they also note that natural formations can produce inexplicable patterns or anomalies in seismic readings, which do not necessarily imply artificial technology. To fully understand the Black Pyramid claims in Alaska, the government decided to try out remote viewing, and you won't believe what they saw. Remote viewing and extraterrestrial connections. When looking at Black Pyramid beneath Alaska's ice, there's the involvement of remote viewing, a controversial psychic practice once explored by U.S. intelligence. There are also claims that this technique revealed evidence of extraterrestrial structures and beings in America's northern wilderness. One of the people who made these claims is Pat Price, a former police officer turned remote viewer who worked with the U.S. government's now declassified remote viewing programs during the Cold War era. In the 1970s, Price participated in Project Stargate and other classified remote viewing initiatives to explore distant or concealed locations using psychic perception rather than physical reconnaissance. Price was first told to use skills on a target in the Soviet Union, but during one session felt an unusual pull toward Mount Hayes in Alaska, far from the original focus of the mission. There, he claimed to see a subterranean complex deep inside the mountain, which seemed to be an extraterrestrial base. In Price's drawings and notes, you can see internal chambers, advanced technology, and humanoid beings working alongside figures he interpreted as human or human-associated personnel. Some versions of the narrative say he described wave pattern equipment, control arrays, and structures that were not consistent with known military facilities. Combine Price's claims to what journalists like Howe spotted, as she covered unexplained phenomena. One of the people she interviewed claimed to see a deep underground space with pyramid-like formations and equipment that could affect electrical or atmospheric phenomena. But the U.S. government and intelligence services have not confirmed that Pat Price's remote viewing helped them to discover extraterrestrial bases. Connection to global pyramids. Rumors linking the buried pyramid in Alaska to the world's great ancient structures have been circulating for a long time, and it continues to challenge mainstream understanding of human civilization. At the center of the narrative, there are the ancient pyramids of Egypt, particularly the Great Pyramid of Giza, which have long attracted speculation beyond archaeological interpretation. While archaeologists date these structures to the 4th dynasty of Egypt around 2500 BC and emphasize their role as royal tombs and ceremonial sites, popular culture has frequently associated them with lost civilizations, including Atlantis, and ideas of shared prehistoric knowledge systems. These theories come from different sources, like those given by clairvoyant Edgar Cayce, who claimed subterranean chambers hold forgotten wisdom connected to Atlantis. You can also see the similarities between pyramids in different regions, from Egypt and Mesoamerica to the one underground Alaska, which might just house aliens. This means that pyramid builders across continents might have been connected through lost networks of communication or common cosmological understanding. If extraterrestrial sources are involved, that might also mean that humans and aliens have been working together for a long time, and we just didn't know it. But it's not everyone that believes in the existence of the Black Pyramid, even if the White House might be secretly investigating after shooting down a UFO in Alaska. Some say that this might just be a hoax, and the main problem is that there's no scientific proof or evidence. So ufologists are still investigating the underground extraterrestrial base in Alaska and its connection to the UFO that the Pentagon shot down. Frozen wastelands like Antarctica and Alaska seem to attract different UFO sightings, making them even more mysterious. Why do you think there are so many UFOs in this region? Let's know your thoughts in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.